two other things just came to my mind. When I worked on Wall Street, I worked at Bankers Trust. It was 30,000 people, a big balance sheet, and we do all sorts of trading. But because it was based on dollars, it was somewhat of an open system. And what we saw was all sorts of brokers and other businesses spring up to service the banks. And I used to have brokers call me that would do interbank transactions because they knew that if they were anonymous and they could do some hustle, they could create these assets around us that would just kind of help the bigger machine work. And it ended up being like when you watch the Nature Channel, there's like the wildebeest and then there's the bird on the back, It's a symbiotic relationship, right?
It's absolutely that.
Yeah.
It's absolutely that. And I think that's what we see because if you chart the growth of the blockchain industry just over the last 5 years, we had the ICO summer in 2017, and then we had a bit of a crypto winter, and then NFTs were invented at that time, CryptoKitties, but they had a slow start because general sentiment around crypto was very low. But then we started to have the DeFi summer back in 2019, and there was this explosion of activity on Ethereum. And I think that actually formed the foundation for the sort of network effect that we have now in blockchain gaming, because the fact that we have access to DeFi and we have those wonderful things like Uniswap and SushiSwap and all these protocols that allow us more interoperability between tokens is essential. Because now what we can do is we can offer that kind of interoperability in our games too. So there's, if people want to have the Rev token to spend on in-game items in our Rev ecosystem, they can just go to Uniswap and get it. There's an easy way for everybody to get it. And because that infrastructure for onboarding users is now there thanks to DeFi, I think that's really helped gaming make a lot of progress.
Yeah, and again, I really appreciate you and Yat kind of highlighting that because it's very easy to get lost in your own, slice of the gaming metaverse and, just get all into Sandbox and not have your head up and just say, wow, all of this history and protocols helped to get us where we are today. Real quickly on that, so many of the people I've had on this show, including you guys, were doing hard work back in 17 and 18, some dark days, building the infrastructure that would now pay off today. Stanley Kulichev was building the previous named version of Aave back then, and Taro Chitra of Gauntlet, and all these people were building in this wintertime where they had sometimes left, great jobs at S&P 500 companies to go work on something their friends all thought was still a scam. It was hard work during the bear markets, when Google was built actually during the technology bear markets, that set up all these great protocols that everyone's using today. It's definitely an important thing to recognize. When I took a look at the financing involved in this market this year, I was completely blown away by what happened in the DeFi summer. And I just knew deep in my gut that this was something special. It actually reminded me a little bit of what we were doing in the 90s in derivatives in Wall Street, except it wasn't just 12 global banks with a balance sheet and 25 rocket scientist kids from MIT they hired. This is 20 guys and a dog in Tel Aviv, 15 girls and a cat in Singapore, putting these open protocols out, and then boom, Uniswap has more volume than Coinbase. It's super exciting, to say the least.
Yes. Well, and particularly for older guys like us, because I find so much of the innovation is happening. I literally have people sending me business plans who are, barely in secondary school.
Wow.